Hey everyone, welcome back. Kind of left you hanging on the last video there on that piece I was making for the fuel cover. I'll just show you what we ended up with there. Here's the finished piece. We have the access panel. It's all screwed down with the recess that I made for the access to the fuel tank. Just show you a few of the things I did here, some of the mistakes I made. We'll go from there. Okay, here's the finished piece removed from the deck floor there. So one of the mistakes I made was when I laid this piece out and cut the hole, I flipped this over, had it pointed up this way to mark for orientation, brought it to the bench and welded it on the wrong side while I tacked it on the wrong side. So I ended up having to cut all those tacks without ruining both of these pieces. A lot of time invested in both pieces. So what I did was I tacked it on the bottom fairly close together, welded the top, and then sanded it and ground it all nice and flat here. So any of you guys that use rivet nuts, on this project I'm using a lot of 1024. Pretty much everything I use is 1024, the odd 1/4 inch ones. The problem with rivet nuts is they stick up above your piece of metal by a millimeter or just over a 32nd of an inch. What that does is it stops, in the case of something like this, from this piece sealing on the lower piece when you screw it down. And I've been trying to come up with a way to fix that. And what I did was I made a little tool that put these raised, hopefully you can see this, that sun's really bright today, get you in the right spot here. You can see that raised edge there. Well, I made those with a little tool, and when I put this on, hopefully I can get the right angle here and show you, the rivet nut now sits flush with that piece that I put in, or that little dimple that I put in there. And the way I achieved that dimple after some experimentation was I took a piece of 3 or 1/4 inch plate, I welded a washer on that has a hole in it a 1/16 of an inch bigger than the flange on the rivet nut all the way around. Drilled a 3/16 hole in, which is what the size you need for 1024s for clearance. And then if you have or don't have a set of transfer punches, these things are invaluable when you're doing copying stuff. They're long, so you can stick them through a hole and center punch. They also have another use. This one, I think it's 3/8. What I've done is I set it up on my press with my piece. This is some of the samples I did. I set it up with a drill bit centering where my hole is, with the hole drilled in the lid here. I put my transfer punch on and I press it on the press until it loads up a little bit. You don't want to go too far. You end up cutting the steel. Well, what it does is pushes this dimple in, which then gives you the clearance for those the rivet nuts so that your piece of steel sits flush with the deck lid there. So I'll just take you over, show you the deck lid. We have it all set. Rivet nuts are in. I have to put rivet nuts in here, but there's already 2 layers of steel, so when I take this panel off, I'll put the rivet nut in the bottom piece, and then I'm going to drill a hole clearance here so that it sits over top of the rivet nut, and then the top piece will screw it down tight. So that's that's how I came about doing that. The one thing I will say on this, the washers are varying thicknesses, so I had to grind this until it went to, I got 18 gauge for clearance so that I had the right amount of dimple in there. So next thing we're going to be working on, guys, I'm going to put the Model T on hold here for a little bit. And my fellow with the car museum has brought me a bunch more pieces. These are from a 1939 Hudson. And there is a piece missing on the grill shell here, lower valance, that ties it all together. I have to build that for him, and that'll be the next thing I'm working on here. So anyway, guys, this short update here on what we've been doing, how I finished off that piece that I was struggling with yesterday. I got some really good comments on what might have caused the issues, and I may do some experimenting here in the future with trying some different things to get a deeper cone in there. So anyhow, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you on the next one.